if any of your friends asked you to do anything, you would be there for them in a second?
Yes, I would in a second, if I could.
Yes. Well, one of the things that I find wonderful about your career is how you either consciously or unconsciously reinvented yourself with the times. And it is quite extraordinary because there are very few people who've had a major film career, major success in Las Vegas, television, but it's true. And then all these shows on the road. I mean, it is staggering because there are other people who might have done that but didn't. Is it your drive alone that created that, or was it your husband, your beloved husband of 52 years, Jack Bean?
Well, I think Jack probably had something to do with it, since he said, I'm not gonna eat this slop unless we go back to work. So, there's that.
Yeah.
No, I always wanted to work. I love to work. It's not work for me. You know, like Ruta Lee is here tonight. I love Ruta Lee.
We love you, Ruta.
Ruta Lee is the same as I. She wants to work. She loves to work. She's very good at what she does. Do you remember seeing in that picture? What's the name of the picture? Jimmy Stewart. No, not Jimmy Stewart.
Tell us, Ruta.
Sinatra? Jerome Power?
No, we can throw out all the names, but she was great in all of them. That's the important thing.
She really was.
Thank you, whatever.
Just say thank you, right? That's what we learn in show business.
Where is she now?
She's right over here. She's right
Stand
over
up
here.
and take a bow, please.
Everybody in the house knows she has always been my idol, and I adore having her as a friend. Thank you, God.
So Debbie Reynolds once said to me, you know, Michael, all the fun in Hollywood happened behind the cameras. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So you came to Hollywood when you were 11, is that correct?
11, from Detroit.
From Detroit. Now, was that your ambition?
Yes.
And your parents were okay with that?
Well, my father didn't want me to go. He didn't want me to go to Hollywood and get the big head. The big head, you know.
The big head.
Of course, that's my hair. But
And
he was a Hungarian.
And I hear you are too.
Yes.
What is your full name, please? Would you tell us your full name, your given name?
Francesca Francis Mitzi Marlene de China von Gerber.
Now, why they wouldn't keep that, I don't understand. I don't get it. So who gave you the name? So then you became Mitzi Gerber, right? And then how did you become Mitzi Gaynor?
Well, I was put under contract to 20th Century Fox. Good, thanks.
2 stockholders. So you were under contract to Fox, and so they wanted to change your name?
Yes, they said I sound like I'm a delicatessen owner. I said, that's good. So they said, well, we're going to change your name. And I said, what's my name going to be? And they said, did you ever hear of Janet Gaynor? I said, of course I did. She said, well, you're going to get her name. So that's how I got the name.
And did you have any control over that?
But my father had given me for my birthday 2 beautiful handmade suitcases with M&G on it. So I said, okay, can you put Gerber, take off the Gerber and put on Gaynor? So he said, don't you get the big head now? Which I didn't.
It would seem to me that it would be hard to get a big head when you go to a studio and the first thing they do is change your name and then they start examining you.
Yeah.
What was that like? What did they say when they looked at you? Did they want to change you?
Well, they kept saying, wait, what are we going to do with her hair?
Or what was wrong with your hair?
It just wasn't blonde.
Okay.
And so I said, well, blonde it. So they said, okay. So they made it a little bit blonde, and then that didn't work. So Betty Grable was my first picture. Can you imagine a kid from Detroit? Mitzi Gerber, Frances Gerber. Francesca's my first name. Francesca Gerber, 11 years old, on a train going from Los Angeles to
Going
California.
to Los Angeles, yeah. Going to Los Angeles.
What did I say from?
You said from, yeah, but yeah.
To Los Angeles.
It's extraordinary.
With my mother and my aunt. And knowing that I was going to become a star. Knowing it. So it took me, see, I was 11 when I got here. 14, I was 14 when I did my first play.
And that was with the Civic Light Opera.
The Civic Light Opera.
And Edwin Lester.
No.
Yes, Edwin Lester was the head of the Civic Light Opera, right? Am I wrong?
Yes.
And San Francisco. But Edwin Lester is the one who I think started to, he might have been one of the first people to recognize your talent. He said that when he saw you, he felt you were an instant star. He said it was obvious to him. And the first musical in which I think you're credited is Roberta in 1946.
Yeah.
And in 1948, Naughty Marietta, which was already a venerable operetta, was revived, and Lester made it a point to create a new role written specifically for you. Am I telling anything that's the truth?
Sounds wonderful. Gee, I didn't know.
I did my homework.
You did.
But I didn't look at Wikipedia because they lie. Yes, I have an oral history with Edwin Lester in which he speaks extensively about how he recognized your talent and he was intent on making you a star. And I believe it was from the Civic Light Opera that you were seen by, was it Henry Coster?
Henry Coster, yes. Came to see the show I was in called Song Without Words.
Song Without Words?
No. The Great Waltz.
The Great Waltz. They did so many of those operetta things.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Great Waltz. And he came back and he said, Mitzi, I love you. Gave me a little tweak here. And I said, take your hands off me. He said, but I'm a famous director. I said, I don't care, take your hands off me. I have an asset's kind of a sense of humor.
And it's
You know
delicious.
that.
I love it.
That did too. Anyway.
And did that sense of humor serve you in Hollywood?
Yes, it did, certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly did. Then I met my mother's famous hero. What's his name?
Your mother's hero? I'm not sure who that would be. An actor?
Yeah, he was an actor and then he became a producer. What's his name?
George Jessel?
George Jessel.
Thank you, yeah.
And he was absolutely wonderful. He talked like this. He did many eulogies. We're going to make you a big star, Mitzi.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, I'm
Yes.
writing the songs for you. As long as you care, I don't care.
What else can you do with George Jessel impression to get applause? No one else.
Marvelous man.
And he named Judy Garland as well.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, because, but Jessel put you in a dog of a picture. The I Don't Care
Say
girl.
that. It wasn't
right?
a dog.
Well,
It wasn't a wolf.
well, I mean, it was edited sort of. This is the only one that I think is wanting is a picture of all the movies you've made. The musical numbers are fantastic, but were you disappointed when the thing came out and it was so edited weirdly?
Well, not really. I didn't know any better. I was in a movie.
At one time, were you making like it was like a factory, so you'd go from one to another, and it was it a job, or were you thinking, is this going to make me a star, or what were you thinking?
I thought so when I did the girls. The I Don't Care girl. The golden girl. Look up in the sky, there's a bird, it's a plane, it's a girl. Bloodhounds of Broadway and a girl. You know, it was always a girl.
Always a girl. And you were the girl.
And I was a girl.
You've mentioned Golden Girl as being one of your favorite
It was my
films.
favorite.
And that was your first leading role?
Uh-huh.
And you got, how much was it, $250 a week for that? And that must have been absolutely wonderful.
Yes, it was great.
So your period at Fox was something that, would you consider that to be your formative years, finding your personality, finding who you are on film?
No.
You knew who you were, but they needed to discover who you were.
Yes. That's why I went back on the stage, because I could be myself. Didn't have to do these little asinine girls.
But you never said no to anything that you
Oh,
were
no,
given.
no. To men I did, but
That's, okay, so seriously, so you say that, to men you said no. There certainly was a casting couch at that time, and now with the Me Too movement, all that stuff, Angie Dickinson gets so angry when you talk about Me Too, because she says everybody knew exactly what they were doing. She said, I did what I wanted to do when I did it, and she said, if I wanted to say no, I said no. Tell us about your experiences.
I went up to see F.U. Herbert.
F.U. That,
No, F.U. Herbert.
F.U.
Herbert.
Okay. Okay. Got it.
He said that he was going to do a date with Judy, and he wanted me to be in it. And I said, gee, that's great, sir. And he said, come up to my hotel room. He said, I don't have an office now. So I took my boyfriend. My boyfriend was, gee golly, this is really swell, isn't it? My boyfriend was a lawyer, and he knew what to say, like, gee golly. Yes, no, I'm not interested in anything. Gee, Mitzi, this would really be great for you. Sure. I said, golly, be quiet. So, they wanted me to sing and dance for them. And I was perspiring. And I perspired so much that the shields underneath my arms got wet. I put my arm out like this and the whole, waterfall fell out. I didn't get the part, I wonder why.
Now, Howard Hughes
Yes.
wanted you desperately for RKO, and he desperately wanted you personally. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And he tried to buy your contract from Fox, and they told him that you, at that moment, were doing a musical with Edwin Lester called Jolly Anna, where you had been loaned. And Lester, I'm told, refused to sell your contract to Howard Hughes. Is that?
Right.
So, what was it like being with Howard Hughes? You were 18 and he was how old?
46.
46. And were you in love with him?
I thought I was.
Yeah. And then what happened?
I met another man. My husband. Jack Bean. A real barrel house. What a man. I was married to him for 55 years.
That's fantastic. And you had one of the rare successful marriages that combined a personal life and a professional life.
Yes, we're very lucky.
How did you do that?
Well, he was for me. And I loved it. He chose the boys that were in my show. He chose the musicians. He chose the music. He was, an all-around talented man. And he loved me. and I loved him.
Oh, that says it all.
Yeah.
So, your film career was one that didn't necessarily bring the stardom that you wanted ultimately until the opportunity came to audition for South Pacific.
Yes.
And did you resist the idea of having to do a screen test? Were you okay with doing a screen test to get the part?
I would have done anything to get that part. Jack and I were going to New York for a vacation. I just finished doing a picture. And I had told people that I wanted to do South Pacific. And there was a phone call from Netta. Netta, that's Mrs.
Oh, Netta Logan,
Oh,
Josh
Logan,
Logan's
yeah.
wife, yeah.
Would she please meet her husband at their apartment on Thursday at 2:30? I wants to talk to you about South Pacific. Well, Josh Logan was going to do the film South Pacific. I wanted to do it. So we went upstairs in the elevator, and I didn't know about this, but it's the truth. You people probably know it. There are certain elevators that get off, and you're like in somebody's living room.
Right, it opens right into
Yeah.
their house. Was this their home on River House on the
Yes,
east?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes,
Right,
yes.
okay.
And wow, Jackie, look at, isn't this beautiful? Oh, wow, Jackie, look. Yes, isn't it beautiful, Yummy? Just be quiet. Be quiet. Yes, but it's beautiful. Hi, Mr. Logan, how are you? He said, I'm fine, how are you? I said, the place is sure swell. How do you get a place where they're in the living room, the elevator? Since you don't have elevators in California. I said, gee, that's right. So he said that he wanted me to do South Pacific. I said, yes, sir. I'd love it. And he said he's not going to use any Eurasian talent or anything. Just white people. I said, whatever you say, sir. So, get on the set the first day. There's Juanita Hall, who's not a white person. And half of the sailors are black. And it felt good. Felt like it should. I said, what happened with your idea about doing it with white people? He said, I was drunk at the time.
And he famously was a drinker. He had some nervous breakdowns later, and Josh Logan had a whole crazy history, but he was obviously on his game with this movie because it became one of the 3 top-grossing films of the 1950s. An extraordinary
So
success.
very lucky with it.
Yes. Well, the talent helped, didn't it?
Yes.
I mean, but you were one of only 2 people who did your own singing in the film.
Rossano Brazzi.
Yeah, extraordinary. And he didn't sing, though, or at least not operatically, right?
Well, Rossano said, Mitzi Gaynor, I have the greatest voice. I'm the most handsomest, the most beautiful man in all the world. I said, Rossano, you're so right.
You're so right.
I said, you're so right. I said, you're the most gorgeous, most handsomest man in the world. I said, Mitzi Gaynor, you're so right.
Was he expecting to do his own singing? I'm
Yes.
doing this like I'm him.
Yes,
He was expecting to do this.
yes he did.
So that must have been, with that ego, must have been devastating for him.
Well, we would go in to record, and there was a man by the name of Giorgio Tazzi
Oh, yes.
who was singing South Pacific down at the,
He was doing it with Mary Martin in downtown LA
Yes,
at the
right.
Civic Light
Yeah.
Opera. Or, yeah.
so we went to see the show. Rossano and Lydia. And Jack and the Logans. And after the show, it was wonderful, by the way. Everybody wanted to stay backstage, including us. And they wouldn't let me into the dressing room.
Why?
Because she thought she was going to do the move.
Well, very few Broadway performers were able to do the films of their Broadway successes. I mean, think about Ethel Merman, who didn't do Gypsy. She didn't do Annie Get Your Gun. I mean, all these iconic roles. That must have steamed her. I mean, you knew her very well. Did she ever talk about that?
Yes, she did. At great length.
Probably loudly.
Listen, baby. Those suckers. That was her favorite line. Listen, baby, those.
And she knew a lot of them too. But that was so she did do Call Me Madam, though. She did
Yes.
do Call Me Madam. Was she, do you think, too much for the screen?
Oh no, she was marvelous. She was just marvelous. God, she was good in the picture.
Well, she's great in show business, and she's great in Call Me Madam. She's fantastic in that.
Yeah.
It was Irving Berlin who said, "You'd better never write a bad song for Ethel, because if you do, you'll hear it." Right? You know what I mean? And were you telling me about singing Christmas carols with her? Were you just
Silent night.
where she's like, at Christmas time, singing this? Yeah. You're looking at me like, why are we talking about something else? Is it true that you were making the Jokers is Wild when you were supposed to do the screen test for South Pacific and the producer didn't want to let you off to do it? And that Sinatra was the person who said, hey, let her do this.
Yeah, it's true.
So if Sinatra hadn't intervened, you might not have gotten the part?
Nobody knows this story. Charlie Vidor was the director
Of the Joker as well.
of The Joker's Wild. And he was a good friend of Josh Lawrence. And Charlie was a Hungarian, and I'm a Hungarian, so we schmooze. And he said, "You want this part very badly?" I said, "Yes, I do." He said, "Well, go get it." I said, "How can I?" I said, "I'm working every day." He said, "We'll shoot around you." So I get the day off. And my piano player is rehearsing. And I started to sing something that wasn't in the show. And with that, Josh came in with Oscar Hammerstein, who, by the way, was such an attractive man, I must have hated. Oh, he was a very attractive man.
Was Richard Rodgers present as well, or just
Oh, yes, he was.
Rodgers
No,
and
he
him?
wasn't.
He was not, so it was just Hammerstein.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, "Miss Gaynor, how are you?" I said, "I'm in love with you." And he said, "That's nice." And I said, "Yeah, it's really nice." Anyway, we had a little thing. We talked a lot. He was a wonderful man. And Richard Rodgers was a piano player. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It was once said by Stephen Sondheim that Oscar Hammerstein was a man of infinite soul and limited talent, and Richard Rodgers was a man of infinite talent and limited soul. Interesting. But together, look what they did.
Yeah.
And you knew quite a number of extraordinary songwriters and creators of songs that are now part of the classic canon. And you met Cole Porter at...
Funny story about Cole Porter. Mr. Lester, who was the head of the studio,
Saul Lesser, right? Was
No.
it, who was the...
Edwin Lester.
Oh, he was head of the Civic Light Opera.
Yeah, so
Right.
Said, I want you to go and meet Cole Porter. He's in love with you.
Oh, so this is before your film career. Right.
So I said, why? He said, because he's in love with you. I said, gee, boss, don't give me that crap. He said, he wants to see a real lady like you, Mitzi. Oh, boss. So he said, I want you to go up to his house, in a house up, Cherry Blossom Lane or something, up
Up in the hills?
Up in the house. So he said, now here's some money. Go get yourself a nice outfit. So he gave me $25. Money was tight in the Civic Light office.
Yeah.
So I went to the Broadway and I bought a Mexican blouse off the shoulder and a Mexican skirt. A broomstick skirt. Does anybody here remember a broomstick? Really? Get you as old as I am. And some huaraches. So, and some silver earrings, twisted silver earrings for $1. And I was gonna go by bus to visit Mr. Cole Porter. So I got off I didn't want to mess up my clothes. So I got off the bus on the corner of Doheny and Sunset, went across the street to the drugstore, changed out of my clothes, put my new clothes, my fresh clothes, in my little suitcase, started up the hill. And a taxi cab went by. He says, where are you going, little girl? I said, I'm not a little girl. Puff, puff. I said, I'm going to sing for Cole Porter. He said, get in the car. I'm going to drive you up. So, swear to God, got in the cab, went up to Cherry Blossom Lane or something. And so I said, thank you very much. He said, don't forget your suitcase. I said, thank you. He said, and a tip. So I gave him 50 cents. That was a lot of money. So I thought, well, how in the hell am I going to get down? Well, we'll worry about that when I'm through. So I went and I took the knocker, knocked on the door. And I said, yes, what may I do for you? I said, hi, Mr. Porter, how are you? He said, I am not Mr. Porter. I said, I'm James, the butler. I said, oh, I'm sorry, sir. Didn't mean to insult you. So he said, walk this way. So I walked this way, and this way, and this way, and this way, until he took me into a small room with a piano and beautiful, beautiful furniture. And he said, now you wait here, he'll be right out. So I'm looking underneath the cushions, to see. And it's that white paper that says warnings. If you remove this white paper, you go to jail for the rest of your life. He didn't have any of those. That's how rich he was. Absolutely. So I saw a lot of pictures of kings and queens, and of course more queens than kings. So all of a sudden I hear, I turn around, he's been sitting behind the piano the whole time. I said, gee, this is real candy, isn't it? He said, yes, it is. He said, what do you want to sing for me? I said, anything goes. I said, but play it in a little slower tempo. So he said, it doesn't go slower tempo. I said, try it. So he goes to bum 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 bum. I said, could you play it a little louder? So he played it for me, and I sang it, and danced around, and carried on like a stupid idiot. And he said, boy, you got energy. I said, I got pep, kid. Can you imagine me talking to Irving Berlin like that? I had such a mouth on me.
But it didn't seem to hurt your career.
No, I guess not.
And he offered you a part in Out of This World, right? From that audition. And
Yeah.
you turned it down to take a film contract, is
Yeah.
that correct?
That's right.
Did you ever encounter Porter again? Because you did this movie, Anything Goes, and then Les Girls with the Porter score.
No, I didn't.
At that point, he was ill, so he must have become more reclusive.
Yeah.
Well, before we continue and watch the film, what are your memories of Bing Crosby? Because Crosby, some people speak of him as being very cold and difficult. Other people say he was the most warm, wonderful man. Rosemary Clooney adored
Yes.
him.
Yeah.
And he evidently could be both of those things depending on what mood he was in.
He had kind of a crush on Aziz Jalmer, but she got herself pregnant. So she spent most of her time throwing up in the dressing room. So he didn't have any fun with her. So he was such a wonderful man. He was so Bing Crosby that he just. I said, "You really are Bing Crosby." And he says, "Yes, I really am." Anyway, and I said, "You're gonna do more movies?" He said, "No, I'm gonna quit." I said, "Nobody will let you quit." He said, "Yes, they will." I said, "I'm gonna go outside right now. I'm gonna get 50 people to say that they never want to see you quit." He said, "Okay, kid, go ahead." So I go outside. I said, "Everybody, Bing Crosby wants to quit pictures," and everybody goes, "Good."
So did you come back empty-handed?
Yeah. It was wonderful.
Well, we're all excited to see this film, and we're particularly excited that you were here because it is a great joy to be able to thank you for all the extraordinary work that you've done in all these mediums, and we are so lucky that you are here and that your legacy is palpable, and we can also experience that with you. And I think it's appropriate at this time for you to receive the Cinecon Legend Award.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, Mitzi Gaynor.